Let me tell you about the day Karen found out what her car really smelled like, and it wasn't from a mechanic, it was from her own granddaughter. Karen's a proud woman, keeps a tidy car, drives her grandkids around all the time, and one afternoon, her little granddaughter climbs into the back seat, wrinkles up her nose, and says, the way only a kid can with zero filter, "Grandma, why does your car smell like feet?" Karen was mortified, because here's the thing, she'd smelled it too. Every time she first turned on the AC, that quick puff of musty, sour, dirty gym sock smell. But you know how it goes, you get used to your own car, you stop noticing, you tell yourself it's not that bad. It took a 5-year-old to say out loud what everybody who'd ridden with her had been too polite to mention, and Karen had been fighting it the whole time the wrong way. She had those little cardboard trees hanging off her mirror, she had the plug-in, she had the spray, and none of it worked because none of it touched the actual problem. In about 10 minutes, with one cheap can, I fixed for good what a year of air fresheners couldn't. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how and why nothing you've tried has worked. Because here's the truth about that smell, and once you understand it, everything changes. That musty, mildewy, wet sock stink that hits you the second you turn on your AC, that is not your car needs an air freshener problem. That is mold. Actual mold and mildew growing inside your air conditioning system, and every time you turn on the AC, your car is blowing air across that mold and pushing it straight into your face and your lungs, and the lungs of everyone riding with you. So spraying perfume at it is like spraying cologne on something rotting in the fridge. You're not solving anything. You're just covering the smell of the problem for a day or two while it keeps growing. So today I'm going to show you how to actually kill that smell at the source, the real fix, the cheap fix, the one that makes it gone instead of masked. Then I'm going to give you a free 2-second habit that stops it from ever coming back. So you do this once and never deal with it again. And stay with me, because I'm also going to show you the products people waste the most money on for this, the ones that guarantee it comes right back. So you stop throwing money at something that was never going to work. And before we go one step further, because I want this in front of you early, everything I teach on this channel, every cheap fix and every ripoff like this is in one guide I put together called Don't Get Fleeced. It's the whole playbook for never getting overcharged on your car, from a shop's AC treatment service to a repair estimate. One PDF, sits right on your phone, costs less than a couple of those air fresheners that don't work anyway. Links in the description and the pinned comment. Grab it and let's get into it. Let me explain what's actually happening in there, because once you picture it, the fix is obvious. Deep behind your dashboard, your AC system has a part called the evaporator. Think of it as a little radiator, except instead of getting hot, it gets ice cold. That's the part that actually chills your air before it blows out the vents. Now, here's the thing about cold surfaces. They pull moisture out of the air and get wet. It's the exact same reason a cold glass of iced tea gets all beaded up and dripping on a summer day. So your evaporator, buried back there, is constantly getting damp as it does its job. And here's the problem. It's tucked away in a dark, warm, enclosed box behind your dash with no sunlight and barely any airflow when the car's off. Dark, warm, damp, enclosed. I want you to think about what loves those exact conditions. Mold, mildew. That is a 5-star resort for mold spores. And over time, they set up shop right there on that damp evaporator, feeding on the little bits of dust and pollen and grime that get pulled in with the air. And once that colony is growing, every time you switch on your AC and blow air across it, you're aerosolizing it, you're breathing it. That's the smell. That's Karen's feet. It's not dirt, it's not old food, it's not something spilled. It's a living mold problem in the one part of your car you can't easily see. And that right there is why every air freshener on earth fails you. An air freshener adds a nice smell on top. It does absolutely nothing to the mold generating the bad smell underneath. So you get this exhausting cycle. Bad smell, hang a tree, smells okay for 2 days, tree fades, bad smells back, buy another tree, forever. You're not fixing it, you're renting a cover-up on a 2-day subscription. Karen probably spent more on air fresheners over that year than the actual fix cost. So let's stop renting and actually own the solution. Here's the real fix, and it's genuinely cheap and genuinely easy. There are 2 things you need to do, and I'll walk you through both. The first, and the most important for the smell itself, is to clean and disinfect that evaporator to kill the mold. And you don't have to tear your dashboard apart to do it, thank goodness. You can buy an AC evaporator cleaner or an automotive AC disinfectant, usually a spray or a foam, for around $10 to $15 at any parts store. There are a few ways these work depending on the product, so read your can, but the common methods are simple. Some are a foaming cleaner that you spray directly onto the evaporator by reaching it through the drain or an access point. The easiest ones for most people are the aerosol foggers. You start your car, turn the AC on, set it to recirculate mode, put the can on the floor of the car, press the trigger so it releases a fog, and the AC system sucks that disinfecting fog through the entire system and all across that evaporator, killing the mold right where it lives. You let it run, air the car out, and that's it. You just reach the source without pulling a single panel. That right there is the step that actually kills the smell, because it kills the thing making the smell. The second part is your cabin air filter, and this one matters more than people realize, so don't skip it. Your cabin air filter is the filter that cleans all the air coming into your cabin, and it sits right there in the path of everything. On a lot of cars, it's tucked behind the glove box, and it is one of the most neglected parts on the entire vehicle. Most people have never changed it once. And here's the gross part. When that filter's old, it's packed with trapped leaves, dust, moisture, and you guessed it, it becomes moldy and mildewy itself. So even if you disinfect the evaporator, if you leave a filthy, moldy filter in place, you've left half the smell behind. Pop it out and look at it. I promise you'll be disgusted. People pull these out looking black and rotten, full of leaves, and go, that's been in my car this whole time? Yes, and you've been breathing through it. A new cabin filter is usually a $10 to $20 part, and on most cars, it's a genuine 2-minute swap behind the glove box with no tools. Do the evaporator, change the filter, those two together are what actually make that smell gone, not masked, gone. Real quick, since we're right around the halfway point and you're getting the stuff that actually works, if this is opening your eyes, that guide I mentioned, Don't Get Fleeced, has this exact kind of straight talk for every corner of your car. So you never get charged $150 for a service you could do yourself in 10 minutes. Description and pinned comment. Okay, now let me give you the free part, the part that means you never have to do this again. Here's the 2-second habit that prevents the whole thing, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Remember why the mold grows in the first place, because that evaporator sits there damp in the dark after you park. So the trick is simple, don't let it sit damp. About 2 minutes before you reach your destination, turn off the AC, turn off the actual cooling, but leave the fan blowing. What that does is let warm, dry air blow across that cold, wet evaporator for a couple of minutes and dry it off before you park and walk away. Dry evaporator means no damp home for mold to grow in. You're basically toweling it off with airflow every time you finish a drive. Do that habitually, and the smell simply never comes back because you've taken away the water the mold needs to live. That's it. That's the secret that no air freshener company will ever tell you, because if everybody did this, they'd sell a lot fewer little trees. And here's a companion habit that helps just as much. Use your fresh air setting more and don't leave it locked on recirculate all the time. When you're always on recirculate, you're sealing that cabin up and keeping the moisture trapped inside, which feeds the dampness. Letting fresh air move through now and then helps keep things drier. Between drying the evaporator before you park and not keeping everything sealed and damp, you've cut off mold's whole survival plan. Free. No products, just habits. Now let me tell you plainly what to stop wasting your money on, because you deserve to keep that cash. The hanging trees, the vent clips, the plug-ins, the spray perfumes. I'm not saying they smell bad. Some of them are pleasant, but understand exactly what they are. They are a cover-up, not a cure for this specific problem. Every dollar you spend on those to fight a mold smell is a dollar spent hiding the problem for a couple of days while it grows. For that same $10 or $15, 1 can of evaporator cleaner actually solves it. So if you've been in that cycle, buy a tree, smell fades, buy another tree, you now know why you've been stuck. You were treating a mold problem with perfume. Break the cycle. Kill the source once, build the free drying habit, and you're done. And let me warn you off one more thing while we're here, because people reach for it and it's a mistake. Do not just dump a ton of heavy perfumed spray or fabric deodorizer down your vents thinking you'll overpower the smell. Not only does it not kill the mold, but soaking things down in there just adds more moisture to the exact place you're trying to keep dry. You can actually make the mold problem worse while you're trying to cover it. If you're putting something in the system, make it an actual disinfectant made for this, not a bottle of scent. The goal is kill and dry, not soak and mask. Now the honest part, because I always give it to you straight, and this is where I earn your trust instead of just selling you a can, The evaporator cleaning and the filter swap fix the vast majority of these musty AC smells. That's your everyday mold and mildew stink, and this handles it. But I want you to know the couple of situations where the smell is telling you something different so you're not chasing the wrong fix. First, if the smell isn't musty or moldy, but actually sweet, kind of like maple syrup, and you're seeing your windows fog up greasy on the inside, or you're low on coolant that's not mold at all, that can be a leaking heater core, which is a different and more involved repair, and no amount of evaporator spray touches it. Sweet smell and foggy, greasy windows, that's a get it looked at situation, not a spray a can situation. Second, check your AC drain. Your evaporator's moisture is supposed to drip down a little tube and out the bottom of your car. That's the little puddle of water you sometimes see under a car on a hot day. Totally normal. But if that drain tube gets clogged with gunk, the water backs up and pools inside instead of draining out, and now you've got a swamp feeding the mold no matter how much you spray. Sometimes you'll even notice a damp passenger floor. If that's you, clearing that drain tube is part of the real fix, and it keeps the water moving out where it belongs. And third, the simple, honest one. Make sure the smell is actually coming from the AC and not from something else in the car. Old spilled milk under a seat, a forgotten gym bag, wet floor mats that never dried. If the smell is there all the time and not just when the AC kicks on, it might be one of those instead, and that's a different cleanup. The tell is timing. If it's worse than that first blast when you switch on the AC, you're in the right video and the evaporator's your culprit. But for the everyday reality, that classic sour, musty, dirty sock puff, every time the AC comes on, you now know exactly what it is and exactly how to end it for good. Let me pull the whole thing together so it sticks. That smell is mold growing on the damp evaporator hidden behind your dash, and air fresheners will never fix it because they only mask it. To actually kill it, run an evaporator cleaner or disinfectant, fogger through your AC to wipe out the mold at the source, and change that filthy cabin air filter that's been quietly rotting behind your glove box. Then prevent it forever, for free, by shutting the AC off but leaving the fan running for the last 2 minutes of every drive to dry that evaporator, and by not keeping the system sealed on recirculate all the time. And if the smell is sweet instead of musty, or your floor is getting damp, that's a different problem, a heater core or a clogged drain, so you chase that instead. Do all that, and you've done a $150 shop service for about 15 bucks, and you never have to buy another sad little tree again. And here's what I really want you to sit with, because it's bigger than a smell. Karen spent a whole year embarrassed about her car. A year of feeling a little ashamed every time someone got in. A year of buying air fresheners that never worked. A year of telling herself it wasn't that bad until a 5-year-old said the thing everybody was thinking. And the fix was 10 minutes and a cheap can the entire time. Think about that. Think about how many people are driving around right now quietly, embarrassed, cracking the windows when someone gets in, spraying stuff before a date or a carpool, feeling like there's something wrong with their car they can't fix when it's one of the simplest, cheapest problems there is, and nobody ever told them what it actually was. That's the part that gets me. This stuff isn't just about money. It's about not having to feel helpless or ashamed over your own car when the answer is so simple. And the reason you never heard the simple answer is that there's good money in selling you a cover-up you have to buy again and again, and no money in telling you the free habit that ends it. That's exactly the gap I'm here to close. Not to make you a mechanic, just to make sure the cheap, simple truth stops being a secret kept from you so you can walk up to your own car with your head up. So do me one favor before you go, and it genuinely helps. Hit that like button if this finally explained a smell you've been fighting. It pushes us out to the next person out there cracking their windows in embarrassment, buying their 10th air freshener with no idea it's mold they can kill for 15 bucks. You might be the reason they stop feeling ashamed of their own car. And tell me 2 things down in the comments. First, be honest with me. Has your AC been doing this, and how long have you been covering it up with air fresheners? No judgment, we've all been there. And second, what do you want next? Should I show you how to find and clear that clogged AC drain yourself, or how to hunt down a mystery smell that's coming from somewhere else in the car? You pick it, I'll build it. And subscribe, because I've got a whole garage full of these coming. The cheap fixes, the honest tricks, and the truth the shops and the air freshener companies would honestly rather you never learned. Thank you for trusting me, and thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.